Hey everyone, and welcome to the I'll Take a Glass podcast. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Preston. No matter what's in it, grab a glass.
And let's do life together.
All right, babe. I'm excited about this. We have been holding this secret in for 6 months now. And so now it's finally here. We are releasing our podcast. Okay, you want to start out by telling people who we are and some of the small details?
Sure. So I am Preston. The other voice you hear on this podcast is my incredible wife, Taylor. We got married in December 2016. So whenever you are listening to this, you can do the math on that. Since December 2016, we have moved cities, we've had a dog, we've moved houses, we've done all of the things. And we have 3 incredible children. Blakelyn, our oldest.
Who's 4.
Laylin, who is our second baby girl.
Yeah.
And then our baby boy, Ace Man.
Yeah, and at the time of this, Blakelyn's almost 5. And then we have Laylin, who is 2. And then Ace, who is 9 months. So they're close together. They're a year and a half apart. So... so we had them kind of close together. We've really been doing life lately.
Yeah, we've been doing life.
And then we're both coaches and teachers. So
Yep.
I think that's important to share because people eventually will share some stories about all that. But our lives don't ever calm down. It feels like I constantly feel like we're in chaos.
Always in a season.
Yeah,
Always in a
I
season.
feel like I always need a glass, but I don't always have one. So, okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to share with people the vision for the podcast and kind of why we started it. I know, again, we'll share this later. We'll probably get into some more conversations about the previous podcast situation with me. But for a while, the reason why we held on to this for so long, for 6 months, is when we had ultimately decided, but had been praying about it before that, and just wanting to make sure that this is something we should do and wanted to do and both were motivated to do. But my word for the year has been relationships. Yep. And so I really wanted to create connections with people and create a platform where people could be authentic, because I think the best relationships obviously are the ones where you don't have to fake it. It can be real.
Right.
And so we just really wanted to make sure that we were facilitating authentic connections and relationships through the podcast, that we got to share some of our authenticity through this podcast and things like that. The main thing.
And
go ahead.
We don't claim to be experts on anything. Maybe the best thing we do is getting it wrong. And so I think that really our goal here is to kind of just bring ourselves to the table and do that every week and just kind of talk about our lives, and hopefully we can make some connections with y'all, or you as the listener sit back and say, hey man, I experienced some of those same things. And so you can gain something from this, just because, like Taylor alluded to, we just feel like the world is shifting further and further away from authenticity. And so we kind of just want to be different in that way and just kind of bring ourselves to the table every week.
Yeah. No, I want to reiterate, we are not experts. I don't want anybody going well, Preston and Tayller Rambo said, and it's no, please don't say that because you're not experts.
No quotes after this podcast.
Yeah. And then one of the main things we to keep it authentic is we plan, but we don't rehearse. Whatever we say or we're going to say, we don't really know what each other is going to say.
Totally off the top.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be good. We might have to hash some things out on here, and people are doing it with us.
Yep.
And then they're going to be like, okay, we need to pray for these people.
Please do that anyway.
Yeah, for sure. One other thing I want to add is we are not drink connoisseurs. We don't have, all we know is how to sit with other people, hang out, make connections, have conversations, hang out with friends, but we can't tell you the best recipes to put together. Although Preston watches several TikToks to figure out what drinks might be good.
So you're probably looking at the title, I'll Take a Glass, and we will get into just our thought process and kind of what that verbiage and phrase means to us, but it's probably not what you're thinking right now when you clicked on this thing.
Yeah, but we still hope that you would hang out with us.
Yeah, no doubt.
Still have a glass.
No doubt.
If you have some recipes, like share it with us, and we might be willing to try it. But the goal is to kind of keep this thing, because obviously it's still a busy world. Like, we know that our worlds are busy, and so we don't want to sit here and make people listen to us for an hour. Although I think it would be fun to hang out with people for an hour. I really would. But we're gonna try to keep these things within 30 to 35 minutes. But we can't make any promises, because, like I said, we might have to hash some things out on this podcast. But we will release episodes once a week, and we're gonna have seasons.
Yeah.
Because life comes in seasons.
Absolutely.
And we need seasons. So, and then we'll connect with you through blogs and social media, and we'll share all that with you, how to connect with us on that. Season 1. Let's talk about season 1.
Season 1. Here we are.
Yeah, here we are. This is us vibes kind of thing. Like, kind of for people to get to connect with us and get to know us, and us get to connect and listen to and hear from some of our listeners, and just really build like what I think is going to be an awesome relationship with these people.
Yeah.
So,
Kind of laying the groundwork and the foundation. Just like I said a second ago, bringing us to the table, saying, hey, this is exactly who we are. And hopefully that inspires some change in the world of more and more people wanting to do that. Just bring themselves to the table. So
for sure. I also think, like, I can't guarantee I won't cry, because I cry.
I'm right there with you, girl.
Yeah, whatever. And then some laughter and some like literally, like, we're just hanging out with our people right now. So, but here's the thing. I know Preston has been waiting to tell this story, and he's actually pretty good at it, but I have some ad libs I will be entering in this.
No. Here's how this has to go. Taylor is going to tell you the story of how we met, her story of how we met, and this whole process to like our life, our relationship, our origin story. And then I'm going to tell you the truth of what actually happened. So I'm going to let her go and tell you, just be prepared to hear some lies. Okay. Don't worry though. If you hang tight, the truth is coming and it will set you free.
Oh, okay. But they'll ultimately find out how we got the name of this podcast too, in telling this story. So, okay. So Preston and I both met in college. He played college football and I played college basketball. Stop me here, because I know I lie, apparently. So I just need you to make sure that you're correcting me. And so anyway, we met in college, and for the first year that we went, because he's a year younger than me. Yeah, he likes to point that out. The first year that
For 2 months, I'm 2 years younger, so
yeah, well, whatever. You're still you're a year younger than me right now. But like, so when we met in college, the first year that we both went, we had no idea who we, like, I had no idea who you were. You didn't know who I was.
So that's the first lie, but I'll let her keep going.
Right. Okay. And then so the year two, midway through year 2, like December of year 2, of me being at UMHB, because I transferred from Lafayette, and then you were a year younger, and we have a mutual friend and he was your teammate, and he posted a picture of you, and I don't know if you I think you still have it up on your Instagram, so people might, I don't know, but either way, it came across my feed on Instagram. So who would have known Instagram could spark these, like, a connection like this? Because I'd say this is a strong connection, you know?
Yeah.
And I said, who is that? And he responded, I think he said Preston. That's all he said. Like, my teammate Preston or something like that. And I was like, oh, and then my teammate said, ooh, Tay thirsty. And this was back when, like, thirsty was, like, a new term.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah. And I said, I'll take a glass for this one. And it was like, and from there, we didn't talk for like several weeks. I didn't know you were, like, I didn't say anything. I didn't think you even saw these comments. And then we are hanging out in the hallway, my teammate and I, the teammate that made the comment, we're hanging out in the hallway, waiting on our professor to show up. And you start walking down the hall, and I instantly, she says, hey, is that him? Is that Preston, the one that you commented about? And I was like, oh my goodness, that is definitely him. So I, like, turned around, faced her, would not make eye contact with you. I thought I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I felt like I was going to pee my pants, but I didn't. And so I'm like, okay, he's about to walk past this. He's going to walk past this. It's fine. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to talk to him. He's going to walk past this. And the professor opens the door and you walk into the same classroom that I'm going into. And at that point, I'm like freaking out. And then so that was like Tuesdays and Thursdays because the way class is set up.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'll only see him on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Well, then the next day I come to class and you were in my other class. So we had class every single day of the week together, having not ever met each other. And then after I make this comment, all of a sudden, and I didn't talk to you for like weeks.
Not only did you not talk to me, you avoided me. Like not talking to someone is not what you did. Like that was a very deliberate action taken.
Like,
don't worry, that's all coming in my story.
And then after that, I went on, we had a basketball game, but we had two. So typically went back then, or really in general, when you play, you play away, you have 2 away games. So you leave on like a Wednesday and then you don't come back till like late Saturday, early Sunday, depending on how far the game is. And so we were gone. We were in Dallas, and like I was in study hall, but hopefully my coach isn't listening to this because I don't remember if we could have our phones in study hall. But anyway, you sent me a message
to the baseline.
Yeah, you sent me a message on Instagram and said, are you coming to class? And I said, no, I'm away at a game. And you said, I'll take notes for you. And here's, I didn't know that then, but here's how I know it was a lie. Because you don't write anything down.
Yeah, it's not a lie. It's called game, fellas. So let me put you on.
Yeah, well, you don't even take notes in church.
You will take notes for her. That's how you really reel them in.
Yeah, so I was like, oh yeah, that'd be great. And then I was like, well, could you, or then you asked for my number or something so that you could share it with me when we got back. And I gave you my number.
Not true. So again, I'll clear all this up.
Listen, I've got mom brains. I don't really think it's fair to hold this against me, but it was something like that. All I know is you want to talk about lines. Like somebody is listening to this and going, all I have to do to pick up a man is just be like, listen, I'll take a glass for this. I'm like, just be bold and strong and courageous in that pickup line. And I'm telling you, I just changed somebody's life. Don't worry.
Like, I'm going to tell you how bold she really is.
I just changed somebody's life. I just want to point that out. And then after that, you were gone. Like, I got back. You were on your way back on a Sunday from your cousin's, like, wedding reception. Mm-hmm. And we had pizza. Like, you invited me over for pizza or something. It might not have been that day.
Second day. First day, we were just coming over to hang out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we came over to hang out.
I think we wound up watching like a Disney movie.
Yes, and I brushed my teeth like 8 times at the teammate's house. Listen, I think we need to give credit to her because she is involved in this story a lot. But I went to her because she stayed in the same apartment as you, and I was like going over just brushing my teeth because I was like, I can't talk to him, and then my breath smells off, and then I haven't eaten, and it was a whole thing. I couldn't figure out what to wear. I wound up wearing sweatpants, a beanie, and like a long sleeve shirt. It was a whole thing. But needless to say, we are here now because of my amazing pickup line. So
yeah.
Okay, please inform the audience and myself as to where I was lying.
So that's Taylor's story. Here's the truth. So I did have a teammate I played with that out of nowhere. So it was my sophomore year in college. I was home on Christmas break, and out of nowhere, like I get tagged in an Instagram post, and he had posted a picture of me out of nowhere. Basically just like, hey, shout out to my boy. I don't think he was coming back to school. Basically saying like, hey, shout out to my boy, miss you, man. Hope all is well or whatever. And posted a picture of me on his page.
That was Jesus. It was Jesus.
No, it was a picture of me. It wasn't a picture of you. I promise.
No, I'm saying like it was a God thing.
You're saying. So Taylor comments on that picture with all kinds of emojis. I mean, emojis I didn't even know, like eye emojis and blushing emojis and all.
I don't remember that.
Things. I don't remember mom brain. And so that's when her teammate steps in and says, "Dang, Tay, thirsty much?" with a question mark. And Taylor responded to that and said, I'll take a glass for this one. Because,
Word.
I mean, I had edited that picture up strong. So I was looking good in that picture.
You were, which is why I found it. And again,
And so then, like, because I'm tagged in it, so her saying, I don't know, I didn't know he was going to see that. I'm tagged in the post.
I didn't even know he went to UMHB. It didn't
I'm not,
matter.
yeah, again, another lie because he said my teammate at UMHB.
Oh, that's
so,
true. That's true.
so like, just the fallacies here.
No, I was just so like taken aback by your handsomeness that I didn't read the caption. I don't even know if I
I'm a
actually read
words
the
of
caption.
affirmation person, so let me stop my story. You keep holding me on. Tell me how great I am.
I don't think I've read the caption. I think I was just like enamored by like the white teeth and the little half smile.
Edit it up. So, anyway, I look at my notifications, got all these comments and stuff. Then I'm reading through this conversation, kind of entertained. I mean, not really thinking much of it. But the first lie that she told in her story is we didn't know who each other were or was, whatever the proper grammar is there.
We're not English teachers.
Yeah.
To point that out.
I am not. Well, Taylor is the most humble superstar you ever meet in your life because she was famous. She had banners on campus and pictures on campus and everybody knew who Taylor was. She's not lying when she says she had no idea who I was because nobody knew who I was.
No.
But she was famous, like Division I transfer, was a crazy scorer, talented basketball player, was a part of a group that came in and kind of turned women's basketball around. And so to say that she didn't know or like we didn't know who each other were like that's not true. I definitely knew who she was. And so to see her commenting all these things, I'm like, okay, I'm really flattered. Like I'm just a bench warmer on the football team over here and the most athletic person on campus feels like I'm attractive. So anyway, I get a Instagram notification saying that she followed me. So I was like, okay, well, let me go confirm this and follow her back. Well, by the time I had seen the notification, Instagram notification, go to click on it, it's gone. She had followed me and unfollowed me that quickly. Like she was like, wait, this is way too committed. So I was like, you know what? Like, all right, she's kind of laid the groundwork here. Now it's my turn to kind of do my thing. So boom, I'm going to hit that follow. Like I got nothing to lose here. Right. So I follow her. So we kind of mutually follow each other on Instagram. We go on a little liking spree where we're liking each other's pictures and stuff. And then we're coming back to school. And we have the same major. So the fact that we went a year and a half at our school,
and
not being in a class, and the same minor, not being in a class, really not seeing each other much around campus. And mind you, we went to a campus of like 4,000 students. So it's not insane to like feel like you're going to pretty much see everybody on campus.
Yeah.
There's required classes that you have to take. And so like there would have been so many opportunities to run into each other, but we didn't. And so that second semester of my sophomore year, her junior year, it turns out that we have class together every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. So we had Monday, Wednesday, Friday together. We had Tuesday, Thursday together. She didn't know about this Monday class that we had together because by that point in the day, I was pretty over class. And so I might have missed that class on the first Monday of the semester. And so anyway, Tuesday, like I had known, like I was like one of those weirdos that went and looked like, all right, who's in class with me? So I'm not walking in class blind. Like I know who I'm going to try to sit by or whatever. And I knew she was in all of my classes, and I guess she didn't because she was cool and she didn't have to worry about friends and who to sit by because everybody wanted to sit by her. So
that's not true either.
We walk into this class and I was a gentleman. So I let her walk in first and I watch her like completely avoid any like eye contact, anything. Didn't say good morning, like nothing, right? So just completely pretend I didn't exist. Walk to a complete opposite side of the room. And that day began small school. So it probably like high school for a lot of you listening, right? Well, we start playing get to know you games because there's only like 25, 30 of us in this classroom right now. And we're playing two truths and a lie. And we're going around the room sharing. Everybody's guessing. And I'm watching because I sit where the cool kids sit, you know, like not all the way in the back, because I do slightly care about my grades. So I was one row from the back, and I'm watching her because she's up in the front, because she's all the cum laudes, right? All of them. And so I'm watching her like make eye contact and engage with every single person. And so I know it's coming up on me. I'm about to share. I was like, all right, here's my chance. Like, I'm going to be pretty intentional about like making eye contact, acknowledging her. Might kind of like bite my lip a little bit or something. I don't know. But it's my turn to go. I start talking, and all I see the entire time I'm talking is the back of her head. Like, the only person in class she didn't acknowledge, that she didn't look at, she didn't guess, she didn't care. She thought, oh, here we go. All guys are the same. He's probably telling nothing but lies. None of it's true. So she went like she was all the way committed to it. So, and then of course, like class is dismissed and she is gone. So no chance to talk to her. Wednesday we get to class. It's even smaller. There's only like 20 people in this class. There's 2 rows. It's a front row and a back row. And she had already been to class, so she had a spot. I wasn't in class, so I didn't. Well, it turns out my seat was like right behind her, like to her left side. And that class dismisses. She gets up and she like basketball shuffles with her back to me instead of just turning and walking out like a normal human being. She made sure like there's no way I'm going to give this dude a chance to talk to me. And I wanted to talk to her, try to get her attention. Nothing.
No. Let's clear this up.
So,
no, wait, hold on. You've never asked this question.
Whoa.
Listen, I've never asked you this question.
I let you tell your whole story.
I know, but listen, we need to put a pause on this. You really would have talked to me.
1,000%. My goal was to talk to you.
What were you going to say?
I don't know, probably something real smooth that really would draw you in.
Yeah, that's...
you just said I don't write stuff down. You think I was real rehearsed with what I was going to say?
No, but like
to you?
you can look me in my face and like 100% tell me.
I was going to talk to you, absolutely.
Okay, I was just making sure. All right, go ahead.
I was probably going to ask something like, hey, like, you need me to sharpen your pencil for your next class? I know you really care about school. Like, I'll do that for you. I will serve you.
I took notes.
Yeah, that's exactly, you know. Well, anyway, so I knew she was going on a out-of-town basketball trip, that the team was going to be gone. So we'd followed each other on Instagram. At this point, I was like, man, you know what? My only chance to get to talk to her is going to be probably through Instagram. So I slid in her DMs, kind of like she said, with that smooth line of, hey, you going to be in class? I already knew she wasn't going to be in class. Come on now, I do my research. She was like, no, we're out of town on a basketball trip. And I was like, rats. Hey, do you want me to take some notes for you? Like, I'll make sure. So just so you won't get behind, because I really care about, your academics, and I want everyone to do well. And so I don't want you to fall behind. So I'll take some notes for you. She ate that up. Like, she was like, oh my goodness. Like, I've never had someone be this sweet to me. You are such an incredible human being. If you would do that for me, I would absolutely love that.
You are incredible, but I don't remember saying
that. I did not take notes, and I didn't that day either, but it was just a way to get some conversation going. And ultimately we had kind of like 2 or 3 like kind of conversations back and forth. I was asking her about how the season was going and stuff like that. And that's when I finally hit her with the classic, like, hey, this conversation would be so much easier if I had your number. Texting is easier than Instagram messaging.
Yeah.
Like, can I get your number and we can keep talking about this, and I'll make sure I get those notes to you and stuff like that. It wasn't a, hey, can I have your number so I can text you the notes? Like, come on, I'm not that lame. But anyway, finally exchanged numbers, and at that point we hit it off pretty quick. I think we knew once we actually hung out that first night, and I think we probably hung out every day for a long time after that. Outside of when you were out of town for basketball. And she always gets mad that I didn't move quick and asking her to be my girlfriend. Talking, dating, whatever that phase that you would call it, for about 2 months.
No, longer than that.
It wasn't. We met in January.
It was like 3 months.
You were
it was
my girlfriend by March, because I asked you to be my girlfriend before spring break.
Right, so like 2.5 months, and we'll meet in the middle here.
Oh, because college, you're not like, it's not like January 2nd you're in class. It's like January 20th.
But I was like, I'm hanging out with this
about
dude every day.
Right. So, and I've told her, like, my whole thought process was like, at this point in my life, like, I wasn't gonna just date to date. Like, there was no point in that for me. Like, I had wasted so much of my high school life dating just to be in a relationship. And so I didn't want to do that. Like, I wanted to make sure that I was invested in school. I was invested in my athletics, which is what I was there for. I've always been incredibly invested in my family. And so, like, I wasn't just going to take time away from that stuff if it wasn't going to be serious. And so I knew very early on in our talking and dating phase, really like our friendship phase, like we became just great friends during that. I had every intention of asking her to be my girlfriend, had every intention of being incredibly serious about the relationship, but she is very impatient. She still is to this day. Nothing has changed. And I didn't move fast enough for her.
You didn't when we got engaged either, but that's for another story, another podcast.
Another story, another time. So what's wild about all of this, though, is after we started getting to the point of talking about, like, hey, marriage, engagement, all of that stuff, impatient Taylor told me she wanted to be engaged for 5 to 7 years before we got married. Get you some of that.
Yeah. One of the pastors recently told us, he's like, she had you on that PhD plan.
Yeah, had me on you ain't lying, PhD plan. I wasn't going to be in college 5 to 7 years, but you wanted me to be engaged to you for 5 to 7 years. Come on now.
Yeah. Well,
you're way too fine for all that.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Yeah, you know it.
Well, one of the things too, though, because I was getting impatient, because I was like, listen, so I tore my ACL in what was like one of the best seasons I'd had as a college athlete, which was hard. It was at the very, very end of the season. And we were hanging out, and then we were getting ready to go into spring break, and I was like rehabbing and all of that. And I finally got to the point where I was like, listen, because I was a junior in college, I was like, okay, it's the same thing. Like, I don't want to just hang out and talk to somebody for fun. Like, I need to make sure that whoever I'm talking to or whoever, like, I want this to be something. I'm investing all this time. So I started to get impatient with that too. But, and I think I was just kind of like, obviously not in the greatest places with tearing my ACL and stuff. But I think that's kind of where I knew was the first thing was whenever, after we had only been texting for not even 24 hours, you watched one of my games that was being streamed. Yeah. And you watched the whole thing.
Yeah, and if I'm being all the way candid, like, I didn't really watch girls basketball before that. Yeah. And I feel like I've been pretty decently invested in girls basketball since.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that was like where I was like, okay, this might be something. And then I saw that at first I didn't know because your messages are green. And it was because of where I was. I didn't know you had an iPhone. I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do this.
Come on now, college, rocking that 3GS, baby.
The green messages. But then after that, I think it was when I tore my ACL. We had only been talking for maybe a month. If that, or like a month and a week or whatever. And I think that was like the second thing, when just knowing how much you were there for me. And then also I turned 21 and you messed up the cupcakes, and it was a surprise, you and your roommate. And then you made a whole nother batch for me. My favorite.
I didn't mess him up. He left him in the oven too long.
Oh, okay. So then you
burnt the full out of those cupcakes.
You went to the store, came back,
this
and
can't happen. First time I ever make anything for her, it's all burnt up. No way.
Yeah. So like I was like, okay, I think this is gonna be it. And it was. So that's how we met. That's how we got the name of this podcast.
Yeah. So it all stems from that Instagram post where she said, I'll take a glass for this one, because that's like, she has said several times that like in person that nothing like that would have ever happened. So her bringing her real authentic self to that moment, I'll take a glass, opened up all kind of doors for us that we had no idea were even there, possibilities. So God's plan prevailed, which is great, awesome. And that's kind of where we got the name of the podcast.
Yeah. And it's for sure God's plan, because I do not make first moves at all. I never did. So I would like to take credit for us being together outside of our mutual teammate. Babe, come on now. But okay, so we're kind of running out of time because, like I said, we don't want to keep people too long, and so hopefully this was fun. But before we go, I do have, so we'll do fan questions at the end, or listener questions.
Yeah,
I don't want to say fan because I don't know that we have. Yeah, that is generous. Listener questions. So people who want to submit questions, so you can do that by DMing us. But before we go, I have one question. All right, top 2 drinks of choice, and it doesn't have to be like an alcoholic drink or anything like that. It could be whatever. Your top 2 drinks of choice. What are they?
Well, first, like, I drink probably more water than anything, so like I gotta have water.
So if you had 3 glasses sitting in front of you, one of them was water, and 2 was like one of your other you're choosing water. That's what you're saying.
I mean, that's the first thing I drink every morning. Like, okay. I don't walk out of the house without drinking a glass of water.
That's a lot. It's water with creatine, but sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Just like to be a little bit yoked up, you know?
Yeah.
Got 2 daughters.
Yeah.
I will beat their boyfriends up. You hear me, boyfriends, if you're listening?
Go to jail. I can't afford you to be in jail. Okay, what's number 2?
For sure water, though. Number 2, that's a tough one because I drink all kinds of stuff just depending on the time. Like, it's hard for me to.
You're hanging out with friends, because that's what we're doing right now. Like, we're chilling with friends. You're hanging out with friends. Number 2 choice.
Probably if I had a drink of choice, number 2. Probably some Sprite. Might tint the color of it with something that tastes, kind of spicy,
So Crown and Sprite?
Yeah, Crown Apple and Sprite probably my go-to.
Okay. I'm saying number 1 is coffee. Gotta have that. I don't know if you are a mom out there and you don't drink coffee or have some kind of caffeine in your life. Like, I need to know your secrets because you are just killing the game. And then number 2, I drink water pretty much throughout the whole day. And that's really all we buy is water. Or, I guess if you want to say buy water bottles. But if I had to go like with a drink, if we're just hanging out with friends, I'm probably going Amaretto Sour. But you can't really get those when you go hang out at a friend's house. So I'd say like number 2 is probably some Stella. Yeah. And I gotta go black. So that's my top 2 drinks of choice. Yeah. But all right, well, if you are listening to this and...
I'm just glad you like your wine different than you like your man.
Yeah, but you're like my coffee. Okay, so let us know what drink you're having with us while you're listening to us, hanging out with us, and make sure you tag us on social media when you do let us know. You can DM us on social media. We'll have the links in the show notes for that. Follow us, subscribe. We'd love for you to subscribe and share the episode with some friends. Also, we would love for you to DM us your questions that you have or things like that we could share at the end of the episode. And we'll try to include a question at the end of every show. This is a place for connecting, of course. So we want you to ask all of the questions. And then, like I said, we'll include our links in the show notes and all those things so you can stay connected with us. Check out our blog post on connections in relation to this episode. And that's on our website. But it'll be in the show notes as well for the link. So we're super excited to hang out with you. We can't wait for season 1. We're glad we got to start this finally and hang out, make connections.
This is us.
Yeah, this is us. This is us vibes. That's what we're going with. All right, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
That's it for our show today. Thanks for listening. Be sure to leave us a review and share this episode with a friend. Tune in next week for more fun and connection. In the meantime, don't forget to visit our website, view our blog, and connect with us on social media throughout the week. Don't forget to fill your glass this week. Share this episode with a friend and invite them to have a glass with us. We can't wait to hang out with you again. This episode is brought to you by Rambo Media. Thanks for tuning in.